Hello everybody, Raven Knight here, and For Honor has officially revealed the new hero, Sohei, as well as all the other cool stuff coming to Title Update 2 of this season. And thanks to Ubisoft, I got early access to the new update to try out Sohei, as well as some of the other great features coming to the game. So today, I'm going to go over Sohei, my early thoughts on him, and what you can expect. But before I start, I want to offer a big thanks to my man, A Break and Run, who not only played the early access with me quite a bit, but taught me a lot about the early access that I didn't know, and more than that, helped me figure out some ways to update my PC so that I could play this game on PC a lot better. So thank you, A Break and Run, really appreciate it. Guys, go subscribe to him if you haven't already. And, of course, I want to say a really big thank you to Ubisoft for giving me early access to the game. It's something they didn't have to do, but it means a great deal that they thought enough of me to give it to me. Thank you guys so much. Couldn't do it without you. And now, let's get into it. Sohei is the new hero coming to For Honor. Fighting on the side of the samurai, he's a mighty warrior monk who specializes in various weapons and fighting styles, and he brings all of his knowledge and experience into battle. Sohei are arrogant and cocky, but they have good reason to be, because they are powerful, capable of crippling an opponent quickly and viciously with an overwhelming barrage of various weapons. Now, many of you have probably figured this out or thought it up, but he is based on the legendary warrior of Japanese history known as Musashibo Benkei, a famous Sohei who lived in the twilight years of the Heian period in the early 12th century of Japan. I'll go into more detail on him and the Sohei in general in my Heroes in History video I plan to make, but for now, what you can take from his story is that Benkei was regarded as a massive man who was famous for defeating unworthy samurai and taking their swords. He carried 7 different weapons with him at all times: the Naginata polearm, the Tetsubo club, the Masakari axe, the Kumade rake, the Nokogiri sawblade, the Hibachi mallet, and the Nagigama sickle. Now, according to legend, he fought the famous Minamoto no Yoshitsune on Gojo Bridge. Throughout Kyoto, Benkei was feared because he would battle unworthy samurai and steal their swords. He had collected 999 swords, and Yoshitsune's blade would be his 1,000th blade. But he was defeated, and he was so impressed with Yoshitsune and admired him so greatly that Benkei swore his loyalty and served him until his death. Again, I'll go into more details on that in Heroes in History. But for now, let's get back to For Honor. In For Honor, we can probably guess that this Sohei likely confronted Master Katashi in a very similar way. But whether he won or lost the fight is unknown as of this point. My guess would be that he lost and, like Benkei himself, became friends or allies with Katashi. I think that would be a really cool direction to go. Now keep in mind, I'm recording this video before the Warrior's Den has come out, so if anything has been said or changed in the Warrior's Den, I will mention it in my summary video that will come out after this video. Okay? Okay. Now, Sohei's overall design takes a great deal of influence from Japanese mythology, wearing masks of Oni, Namahage, and other deities. In fact, you could go through and customize your Sohei to look like a lot of stuff. You could look like Raijin the Thunder God, a big old Oni demon, a big old troll, or the Green Goblin.
You're boring me, Spider-Man!
As Soheis are warrior Buddhist monks, it just makes sense that he would be well versed in knowledge on all these things and embody them in his appearance. He carries 4 of his 7 weapons on his back and 2 at his hip, and his primary weapon in his hand. Now, like Benkei, Sohei carries a Nokogiri, a Hibachi, a Nagigama, a Tetsubo, and a Kumade. However, unlike Benkei, 2 of his weapons have been replaced. Instead of a Masakari axe, which Hitakiri uses, he uses a Wakizashi sword. And instead of a Naginata, like what Nobushi wields, he carries a Kamayari spear. His behavior comes off as cocky, arrogant, and ferocious, and he's a fearless warrior who strikes terror into his opponents with his mere presence and fighting prowess. And speaking of fighting prowess, I highly encourage you to listen to creators like Marco Yolo, A Break and Run, Havoc, and others on when it comes to his fighting style and balancing, as they will be able to give a more in-depth understanding of his abilities. But I will tell you what I can, just based on what I've played. Sohei's kit makes him feel like a heavy hybrid. He has a limited combination from neutral. He can do light, light, and heavy, heavy on its own. He can also do a zone light and zone heavy, or he can do an infinite combo by throwing a light or heavy, going into a zone, and then following up with another light or heavy, going into a zone, and then another light or heavy, and then going into a zone, and he can keep that up as long as he has stamina. His second heavy attack is always unblockable, and his in-combo zone has hyper armor. Sohei also has access to a dash forward light, a dash forward palm bash attack, which guarantees a light or a heavy, and either a dodge light or a dodge heavy, which can be followed up with a heavy or light depending on what kind of dodge was performed. From the way he reads, Sohei seems a bit limited at first, but it's the elements of his secondary attack that make him so frightening. The Japanese used to believe that souls resided within all things, including weapons. As a result, Sohei is able to awaken the souls of his weapons by using them. When Sohei performs a secondary attack in his combo, he uses one of his weapons on his back or hip. Which weapon he uses depends on the direction of the attack as well as the type of attack it is. So, here is the list. A left light attack triggers the Wakizashi blade. A left heavy attack throws the Nokogiri, which also causes bleed damage. A top light attack throws the Tetsubo club, which is undodgeable. A top heavy attack throws the Hibachi mallet. A right heavy attack throws the Kumade, which will also pin an opponent temporarily, and a right light attack throws the Nagagami scythe. When Sohei hits an opponent with one of these weapons, they will awaken a soul, indicated by a glowing white fire above the weapon in question. Once all 6 weapons have been used, the souls will glow red, indicating that Sohei has gained access to his most devastating power, the 7-point strike. By doing a forward bash into zone attack, Sohei can spend all of his souls to grab his opponent and impale his enemy for a total of 95 damage. An absolutely debilitating attack. To help Sohei obtain souls faster, Sohei can guard break his opponent and hit the light or heavy attack button 3 times in a row to strike his opponent with all 3 heavy or light weapons, filling them quicker. But doing this doesn't do much damage, since each weapon only does 3 points per weapon, and Sohei's entire moveset is hinged around awakening the souls in his weapons to perform this move. And it's an incredibly powerful move, granted, but I'm sure people are going to call it OP. Now, before you do call it OP, let's keep a few things in mind. While it does do a great deal of damage, consider the following. First, Sohei's only move with Hyper Armor is his end-zone combination attack. He can't trade blows well otherwise, and that includes with the 7-point strike. If the 7-point strike is interrupted midway through, not only will it not do damage, but Sohei's souls will be wasted. Secondly, Sohei can only perform this attack when he gains all 6 souls. Until he does, the souls have no benefit to him, so it can be very difficult to gain everything necessary for him to actually make use of them. And third, Sohei's combinations are highly limited and can be predictable. Since he can't perform a light after a heavy or vice versa, people will usually be able to figure out what kind of combination Sohei will use. Plus, an observant player can see the souls activated on the enemy Sohei and guess what weapon Sohei will likely rely on to finish filling his weapons. And in a 4v4 situation, if he's ganked, Sohei has to play defensively, which means he can't use his secondary weapons quite as frequently. So, if you overwhelm him in a 4v4 situation, Sohei is locked down pretty definitively. To put it bluntly, he'll be very fun in 1v1 situations, but he'll find it difficult to perform in 4s without the Hyper Armor to trade blows, and with his limited moveset to make him able to swap between targets and apply pressure. Keep in mind, he also loses all accumulated souls on death, meaning that just using his special attack will be difficult to perform. I think he will go through a slight change to make this different, though. In terms of his feat, Sohei's first feat allows him to apply a debuff on one opponent temporarily, making them eat more damage. His second feat allows him to spend all of his 6 souls to fully heal himself, but remember, he needs all 6 souls to do this, so he can't spend less than that and get a smaller percentage back. His third feat passively gains him an attack buff if he has all 6 souls, and his fourth feat lets him automatically gain all 6 souls immediately on use. Just so you know, a break-and-run and I actually managed to pull off a one-shot killer attack by applying the first and third feat while using the 7-point strike to create an attack that did 149 damage. Victory! Jesus. To put it simply, guys, Sohei is a beast, and he's certainly going to be the highlight of what's coming in this title update. Do I think he's OP? Oh, yes, he's going to be very strong on launch, but I think after a few weeks with the character, people are going to realize his inherent weaknesses. While his 7-point strike is incredibly powerful and can be a game changer, getting it to activate in a 4v4 scenario is going to be painful. He'll be stronger in duels, because in duels he has a much more likely chance of getting what he needs to perform the attack, but in 4v4s, if he gets overwhelmed by a mob of enemies, he's going to have trouble being aggressive, which he needs to be in order to fill up souls on his weapons. So I think that he's going to struggle in that area, like I said before, but I think that we can adjust it. Make it so that he has an easier time flowing into his souls, like maybe give him heavy light or light heavy attacks, and also decrease the amount of damage the strike does, like change it from 95 damage to 55 damage. I think that's a fair trade. But, guys, I should let you know, Sohei isn't the only big change coming to For Honor. It's a thing that we haven't really touched on as much, and maybe they'll touch on in the Warriors Den. I'll go into more of it in my summary video. But there's a new update coming to For Honor, and I pray that it is coming to console, called Photo Mode. Photo Mode is a new gift to For Honor players. By pressing the pause button and selecting Photo Mode, you can freeze the screen and move the camera around in various angles and directions to get beautiful screenshots of your characters or the environment around you. Now, you can't do this in PvP. You can only do this in training mode, story mode, or custom matches. You can also do it on the hero menus to get a better look at possible executions, effects, weapons, environmental details, and other such things. You can change the frames, filtering the image, the perspective of the shot, and you can turn this mode into an absolute boon for those of you out there who will be getting sweet shots of your favorite effects and executions, and it also means I'll be able to make even cooler thumbnails for videos. A big thanks to A Break and Run for showing me how to use this. I did not know it was there until A Break and Run showed me. It is pretty stinking sweet. So all of this is to let you guys know that I had a great time with the early access. I absolutely love Sohei. One thing that is really funny is a lot of people have been saying, we want a new hero that feels unique, that feels different, that isn't just borrowing traits from other heroes. And quite frankly, I think Sohei gives it to us. Is he perfect? No, I think he has a few problems. I think they're going to have to adjust him a little bit, because I do think his 7-point attack is way too strong, but you can't get into it as easily as I would like. I think that they're going to need to adjust that and balance him out a little bit, but for what we've got, this character is pretty stellar. Really like how he plays, and of course, I love Photo Mode. I think that is such a nice gift to For Honor. Please bring it to console. Please, 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 please bring it to console. I will love you forever if you do. But that's all I have to say for today. Don't forget, guys, I'm going to be doing a summary video coming out real soon now that the Warriors Den is out, and I will give you any more details that I don't already give you here. I'm also going to be doing a Heroes in History on Benkei when they come out, as soon as I get to Rep 5 with them. I'm going to be planning a Legend for the Sky. I've got a lot of content to make about this new hero. It's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you're looking forward to it. One more big thank you to A Break and Run for playing with me. A thank you to Ubisoft for giving me early access. And a thank you to you, my wonderful viewer, for always being there for me, hanging out with me, and just watching my content. It means the world to me. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you on the battlefield with Sohei and in my next video. Take care.